Training new Olympians will take many years. We may not really know what or if any legacy has been left until the Rio Games in 2016.
Well, there we are, Don Foster. It's all gone terribly flat, hasn't it? Listening to those teachers and people working with the young people, where's the legacy?
Well, I mean, first of all, the legacy isn't just sporting legacy, it's business legacy. We're doing incredibly
stick to sporting
well.
legacy for the minute, because that's what the teachers are dealing with.
Remember, we said the legacy was about business, it was about tourism,
it was about getting young people into
education.
Sport,
and what we're seeing now is a number of real initiatives that are having real benefit. One of the great things is that if you link sports clubs with schools, you give children, young children, an opportunity to find a sport that they really are interested in, not just a limited few. That's having a real benefit. We've announced £150,000 more, £1 million more, sorry, to help in primary school sport. And in addition
that's
to
the replacement for the school sports partnership, isn't it? Which was putting a lot more money than that in the first place.
Tie into the fabulous work that's being done locally by Westport, the county sports partnership. And in addition to that, we're putting in £70 million to give additional training for primary
Thangam
school
Debbonaire,
PE teachers.
the teachers, the people who are dealing with young kids are saying, hang on a minute, nothing's happening here, we're having to do it for ourselves.
I spoke to children this morning, and my niece Imogen said to me 10 years ago her school was able to get a load of new equipment, and when she came to that school, that equipment was brand spanking new and it really helped young people get into sport, and now it's not being replaced, there isn't the money, and when she goes to rounders practice she has to get in a bus to get to a playing field because playing fields are no longer available. You can say additional as many times as you like, Don, but the money isn't the same. The money isn't there, and that Olympic legacy means that the Jessica Ennises of the future are getting in a bus to train 20 miles away.
Or indeed the Ben Rushgroves as well of the future, because he's joining the debate here. He's a Paralympic athlete who won silver in Beijing and bronze in London. 1 year on, Ben, what do you make of the legacy?
Well, it's definitely not dead. There's no doubt about that. I mean, I go into schools all the time and, you know, inspire the kids with medals and talks and so on. And, you know, it's amazing the kind of reception that people like me get in schools. You know, not just me, but, you know, all my contemporaries as well. And I think what I've realised is that if we can inspire these people now, if we can get them involved in sport now, then they're more likely to stick with it as well. You know? When I was a student, you know, school really was the thing that got me involved in sport, and if it wasn't for my PE teacher, I wouldn't be sitting here now.
But you're a big ambassador, and you love doing that. You love working with kids. You love pulling people through. What about the government? What about this great promise of the multi-millions, indeed billions of pounds that's been spent on the Olympics? Are you seeing something falling out from that?
Well, it's really interesting. I think it's very early days still in terms of that. I don't think we can say for sure what's happening, for certain. But I mean, it does seem to me that so far we've done not a bad job of it. You know what I mean? Like, if you look at previous cities that hosted the games, you know, then they're in a situation where some of them, like Beijing, for example, you know, their stadiums still aren't being utilised by anybody, you know, and that's not the case in London.
Okay. And they had debts for years to come. And what we've seen now is you're concentrating on one aspect, school sport, which I think is very important. I don't deny that.
But that was the promise, wasn't it? You were one of the great czars of the Olympics. You said it's to
I was on the Olympic board.
Get youngsters into sport.
Absolutely. And you have to remember there are a range of vehicles for doing that. We have the work of the county sports partnerships. We have the work of all the individual governing bodies of the different sports. They've been given a stash of extra money and a clear requirement that they have to work with young people. And as Ben rightly says, we're actually seeing that enthusiasm. We're seeing the sports clubs. We're seeing the different sports bodies doing more.
The sports partnership in the first
place. They did,
place.
and I was very
outcry about that they brought back this.
You're absolutely right. I was one of the first to criticise the government for having done that, and we've actually seen that has been now reversed, and the funding is now there, and I welcome that.
Well, Don mentions the other aspects of the Olympic and Paralympic legacy, and I think that is worth mentioning. The Labour government, who actually, let's not forget, got the Olympics to Britain, one of the things they delivered and they showed through the Olympics and the Paralympics is the value and the benefit of government investing. So that government investing, and let's be honest, Don, it was the Labour government's idea, government investing in the Olympics meant that we had thousands and thousands of new jobs. And they weren't just in London, they were all over the country, as well as the amazing sporting legacy, which we should have had and sadly don't.
Dan, 24, listen to the politicians there, you know, talking away. You're the guy that goes in and talks to the youngsters as well. What, 24 billion or something, I've heard all these figures being bandied about. Was it worth it, the Olympics?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, you know, maybe I'm biased. You know, what I know. I was the guy who was standing in the stadium, benefiting perhaps more than most people from that expenditure. But I mean, you know, it was an amazing period of sport, and I mean, I think what was really powerful for me wasn't the Olympics so much as the Paralympics. I think the Paralympics were almost more powerful because people weren't expecting it to be so good. And in many ways what happened was that people just couldn't turn off the TVs by the end of it.
Well, I'll tell you what, it was powerful memories anyway, as well as an awful lot of money spent for the minute. Thanks very much indeed.
Well spent.
Right, indeed. Let's have a look at the other political stories making the headlines around the West in our 60-second roundup.